And we're also here with you daily, Monday to Friday. It is Thursday, though, June 9. It's time for Morning Barbados.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. How are you doing this morning? Hey, did you go to the beach yesterday? Did you just stand on a hill and gaze at the wonder that is the ocean? Or are you afraid of it because the old people told you it has no back door? What I'm getting at is that yesterday was World Oceans Day, actually. And the lifeguards had a challenge. I'm sure we'll hear some more about that. So, good morning to you. We're going to get the show started. We have one of the ladies here already, and the other one is expected to join us shortly. So let me introduce and say good morning to Katrina.
Morning, Colin.
How are you doing today?
Better this morning.
Nice
Feeling slightly under the weather yesterday morning, but I am back and happy to be with you. Thanks for choosing us to start your morning off right with. As Colin said, it was World Oceans Day yesterday, and I'm a bit of a fish myself, I have to admit. So, taking stock of all of the wonder and magic that is the ocean, and of course making sure that you pay attention to things like pollution, bleaching corals are things that people, when they dive, they see and they don't quite understand, but it has to do a lot with what we do on land when it runs off into the sea. It also has an impact on those.
And some strange things have been showing up on the coast.
Between the strange...
But not so unusual.
Not so unusual. Strange to us because we're not used to seeing them. Unusual because they're out of the ordinary, but we don't know everything that goes on in and underneath
the ocean. Wonderful world down there. In fact, some people are scared when they put on goggles and go underwater and see certain things. Yeah.
No way.
But it was, first there was the sea sawdust or something like that?
Yes, it was. It was a cloudy kind of presence that was somewhere in between looking a little bit like sand, but not so much.
Sand in the water.
Sand in the water. Groundbreaking. And then it was what appeared to be something decomposing.
Yes.
Yeah, or decomposing something or the other. And then it was a seaweed, which...
what about that big thing that
That's what I'm talking about. It wasn't...
I can't believe nobody held it from going back into the water.
That was my concern.
If I was there, I would have held it. They could have called me. I'd have flown in to hold it. Oh, my God.
They could have called you?
Yeah, they could have.
You're that kind of reliable, right?
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, strange things have been happening, and it just goes to show that sometimes just because we don't know what's going on doesn't mean it's not completely ordinary. Interesting things happening last night as well.
I'm sure they'll be in our top lines too, so maybe we should check that first and see if they're there.
Let's have a look and see what the top lines are. These, of course, are the stories that we'll be following in some detail, in more detail, in our main news package at 7 o'clock at the top of the hour. We hope you join us then. The Ministry of Tourism has been told to forget about a tourism master plan and implement the recommendations of the Tourism White Paper. President of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Colin Jordan, says the White Paper is at an advanced stage and the BHTA has already made its submissions. There's a call for Caribbean people to vote out governments that try to restrict regional air competition. It's come from Mr. Jordan again, president of BHTA, who is referring specifically to the challenges faced by new low-cost air carrier RedJet. Barbados' Finance Minister Chris Sinclair believes the establishment of a regional securities exchange is still some way off. Mr. Sinclair says while a regional exchange is highly desirable, it will take some time. The Organization of Eastern Caribbean States expects increased trade activity with the European Union once the obligations under the Economic Partnership Agreement are met. The OECS Secretariat said that a review of the legislation regarding the implementation of trade in services and investment obligations under the EPA has now been completed. Those are just some of the stories that we'll be following in our main news package at the top of the hour. We hope you join us then. Did you find what you were looking for in those top lines, Colin?
No, I didn't. I have to say that. But maybe we'll have it when we start perusing the newspapers.
A little bit later. So what's making headlines internationally?
Well, quite a couple of stories. One, U.S. hobbled by dawdling over green technology. That's an interesting headline there. Of course, we're getting it from the International Herald Tribune, brought to us with the good wishes of Newspaper Direct. Germany pushes back on Greek rescue plan, putting Germany at odds with the European Central Bank and the French government. Berlin has proposed extending the maturities on Greek bonds by 7 years, insisting that private investors must share in the costs of any fresh financial aid to Greece. And in Syria, a man is emerging as the enforcer as reports mount of defections in the Syrian military and the government staggers from the killing of soldiers and the police officers in a northern city. President Bashar al-Assad may turn increasingly to his brother, Maher, whose elite units in a demoralized army could prove decisive to his government's survival. And this is according to analysts and activists. Some of the stories in the International Herald Tribune. One more I will share with you. The Pentagon Papers that the secret government study on the Vietnam War are going to be declassified. The only thing is they were released 40 years ago by a man who was arrested for it. The Pentagon Papers were leaked to the press 40 years ago by Daniel Ellsberg, who surrendered to the authorities in Boston on June 28, 1971. On Monday, they will be released officially. Some of the stories in the International Herald Tribune. In the Nation newspaper, well, there it is, first sign of it. PM's shifts. Stewart includes Kelman Low adjust 5 portfolios. I'm sure we'll have the details of that story later on in the morning news. On the back page, Free Willy. Charges against 71-year-old William Walter Cooper were dropped yesterday after he was hauled off a plane on Monday. He is free now. Up and down, a mixed bag for tourist arrivals this year. Barbados recorded an 11% increase in long-stay tourist arrivals from January to April and a 10% decline in May. I wonder what's happening in May, why the tourists are not coming.
Might have something to do with a particular birthday, maybe?
Well, they should all come for that birthday.
For your birthday. Well, we live in hope.
Yeah.
Just to take a look at what's happening in the Barbados Advocate, once again making the front page. PM makes changes to cabinet. Dennis Kelman takes up reins of new ministry. But on the top of the headlines, durable roads possible, says recycling company, talking about a proposal to make use of the thousands of tires that are dumped annually at the Mangrove Pond landfill. Perhaps we should get an update as to what's happening with the cleanup up there. It'll be a long while yet until everything is back to normal. On the back page, recovery mission. Government intends to go after delinquent taxpayers who owe the Revenue Collection Department millions of dollars in unpaid taxes. That, of course, is from Minister of Finance Chris Sinclair. If you want the details to those stories and more, you can pick up a copy of The Advocate, The Nation, or call our friends at Newspaper Direct for a roundup of what's happening internationally. We're now going to take a look at what is happening in our program coming up. As usual, it's been a mixed bag, a packed program, and we start with a place that personally I like to visit quite a lot. It's Peron.
You introduced me to it, actually.
Yeah, Peron Village is a great place if you want to kind of get a little bit of everything in a quiet, off-the-beaten-track location, but it seems to be one of the best-kept secrets on the South Coast.
Yeah, well, we started outing the secret right now.
We are.
We can't keep a secret.
No,
we like
we
to say,
can't.
So, you know, we'll tell you some more about Peron Village. Of course, all that and a whole lot more when we come back on Morning Barbados.